My name is Earl Blake, and I have been at Friendship Terrace since 2010. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. My family is a family of musicians. Everyone plays the piano. Well, I played the piano since I was about 5. I took lessons at around 8, which continue until today. My father was a barber, and my mother worked for the government, the city of New York. My music career started, I guess, at 14, professionally, being out. And one time I took I took a thing for the Arthur Godfrey talent show with a singer. I actually played for a singer who was a nephew of my first music teacher. After that, I played with Hank Mobley, did a rock and roll tour with a singer by the name of Bobby Hebb, who made the recording Sonny. With him, I stayed for a few years. First, it started with an agent whom I met from a cordial friend who played, and I was in California at the time, and they needed someone to go to this particular place. So the fellow in New York, which said to the agent, well, look, why don't you, Earl could do that job. And they wanted someone who figured could cover several areas of playing, because, hotel playing is not like playing on a jazz scene where you sit and play, but you have to play a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So when I came back, I had a telephone call that said, call this man, which his name was Sid Sayer. And I called him. And he said, could you come over to my office and see me? He said, I'm on 57th Street and between 7th and 6th Avenue. In the Steinway building, let's put it that way. So I went over and we talked, and he said to me, could you do this particular job? And I said, yes. I said, I could do it because we would be home for at least a month. And now this job was it seems funny, this job was at Gross Singers in the Catskills. I went to Gross Singers, and that was my first meeting with this particular agent. And we stayed together for many years until I went to, I believe I went to Bermuda, yes. I went to Bermuda to work for 6 months, and it turned into 7 years. Primarily, first, I would be a jazz pianist. Now, I studied all of the classical pianos as well. I mean, because you have to. All music starts the same way, scales, arpeggios, scales, arpeggios. And of course, you never become a good player until you can love a scale. And if you can love the scales, then they mean more than da-da-da-da-da-da. They suddenly take on a meaning of music, not just running up and down. So since I had all of the training I had, but my choice was to go to the jazz side. I've performed and lived in Los Angeles, not San Francisco, but the little area around it, a little town called Haywood, California. Vancouver, BC, Toronto, Canada, Montreal, Cleveland, Ohio, and Chicago, Illinois. And there was quite a few of them. I think I got most of them in. But there were several more, maybe in Savannah. Well, Washington, when I came to Washington, I came here because my wife, my future wife, was living here, was working here. And so when I came back from Bermuda, I came here. First, when I came back to this country, I was in 1980. And I went to work up at Lake Placid during the time they were doing the Olympics. And then I came to Washington, back down to Washington to live.